Hello and welcome to Groundhog Jungle. I'm Matt Fleming and this
is Alex Hillman.
And today we're talking about this film. With Friends Like These, a Bill Murray film from, I think, 1998 that, well, good luck on finding.
Now you'll notice that we've got this on VHS. As far as we're aware, it's never been published on DVD, so...
No, so that was the first... We've got a tale to tell. And
yeah,
this is the
well,
tale.
I'll let you tell the tale.
I'll tell part of the tale, but then part of the tale definitely involves you.
Okay.
So
hopefully I'll remember it.
Yeah, I think you will. It's in your review. We can always you can always just read verbatim from it.
Yeah.
We knew this film was hard to find when we started this project. Streaming wasn't quite so big a thing. It was still around, but so a couple of films we did, I think, have to stream. We did pay for, like The Razor's Edge and stuff like that. Yep. A few films were available on YouTube. Most films we bought, some we already owned. It's Bill Murray. Quite a lot of his films I had anyway. With Friends Like These, we didn't know anything about it. It was quite hard to find. I think it's been shown once on TV in the last 25 years. So we weren't going to get it that way. Could we get it on any streaming sites? No, they haven't heard of it. Certainly not the ones then. Maybe you can now. I suspect you probably still can't. I don't know. No. So I looked it up online. There were no DVDs available, not in this country. You could get it maybe...
well, I think, just to jump in there, I think one of the issues that we had is that it's possible to get it from like a regionless sort of DVD.
Yes, yeah.
But we were in a hurry, and we had to get it, didn't we? We couldn't really wait, so we had to get a copy that was
maybe
within a few days.
Maybe it is possible. I think, I mean, my memory of it is that we could find it on a region, and it wasn't a region we had. Anyway, DVD wasn't an option for us. No. So we looked at each other and said, should we just order it on video and try to get a video player? So as he says in his review, Alex said he was certain that he had a video player in the cupboard somewhere. So I pressed order, and this came through the post, which was great. So Alex then went, I think, back to make sure the video player was there. Was it?
No.
You said you'd remembered it being in your parents' cupboard
so
instead.
I'd remembered it. Yeah. So in my head, I think I'd accidentally kind of misremembered it being in my cupboard and replaced that cupboard with a cupboard 14 miles away, which was no longer a viable option. So... and I suppose I'll take over this chunk of the story.
Yeah.
So at that point, I put a feeler out on a certain kind of social media site and asked anyone if they had a video player that I could borrow. And they did. And what was handy is that I was able to borrow said video player, and I specifically remember the person lending me the video player, who's kind of like a really obscure friend on my friend list, like someone's mum from a show I did once. And she said, I don't mind about the video player, but please could I have the bag back? To this day, I still have the video player, and I still have the bag. In fact, the video player's over there.
Have you remembered who it was? Because in your review you talk about not knowing who this person was.
Yeah, I still can't work it out. But whoever that is... There's a very limited chance she's watching this, but if it's you, I'm sorry.
Didn't you meet them in a parking lot, like in a political thriller?
No, it was in a university campus in the city that we live in.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, over to you. We had a video player though.
We had a video player, so you brought it round to my house. We were like connecting it up and trying to work out how we were going to do it. We had this, luckily, because this is clearly the film With Friends Like These. You can see it there, With Friends Like These. And obviously when you open it, you can see it there in the video. Oh, I see. It's called...
Forgot about that bit.
For Their Own Good.
Why is that a funny title?
which I think you looked up, and wasn't it a drama about a factory worker who is declared sterile and tries to sue the company that made her sterile?
Why is it called For Their Own Good?
I don't know.
Now that doesn't have Bill Murray in it.
No.
So there was a problem.
In Alex's review, he says we could still watch it though for when we want to laugh.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it yet, have we?
No, maybe one day we will. You've got a video player.
Anyway.
So obviously then we had to order the other one. I'm not going to go for it. I had that somewhere. I'm never going to watch the film again, so I think I gave that away to a charity shop. But I'm keeping this because it's the only copy in the world of With Friends Like These box that has For Their Own Good in. Yeah. I promise you, no one else has that.
No, and this is an assertion that I can be confident in saying that is correct. But please, if you're a commenter or one of our 9 subscribers, feel free to contradict that.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you will.
And if you've seen With Friends Like These, talk to us about it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We didn't enjoy it.
No, I mean...
Well, not massively.
So you remember it sort of unfondly.
Well,
I don't remember hating
I'm
it.
going to remind myself of the scores.
I mean, let's talk about Bill Murray in the film. So, the premise of the film is this. I think there are 4 middle-aged men. 3 or 4? 4. We'll go 4. 4 middle-aged men who are made up of Robert Costanzo.
Joey's dad from Friends, is that right?
Yes, yeah. Joey's dad from Friends.
Who I've only seen in 3 things. This, Friends, and the Elijah Wood film North, where his conscience is played by Bruce Willis dressed as a giant bunny.
That's Elijah Wood's conscience, not Robert Costanzo's conscience.
No, Robert Costanzo is just this stock villain, I think.
Yeah, which is relevant in a way to this.
To this, yeah.
So he's one of them, and then is it Alan or Adam Arkin?
Adam Arkin, who we think is related to Alan Arkin,
I think
but we
he
don't know.
definitely is. Yeah, he certainly looks like him. Adam Arkin is another one.
He does look like him, yeah.
David Stathern is another one who he's in loads of stuff obviously, but I've only seen him in The River Wild.
Okay, yeah.
But he's great in that.
Yeah, he's been in quite a lot of sort of Oscar
I know
contenders.
he's in an awful lot of stuff. He may well be in stuff I have seen, and I may have seen him in other stuff. Is there a 4th man? Or am I making that up? Maybe it's only the 3 then.
Well, then there's definitely 4 men
no,
here. One of them looks like Ray Liotta. I don't know. We don't know who the 4th man
John
is. John
Tenney, I guess. It's possible there may be 3 or 4 men. We haven't rewatched this film since seeing it about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So we are guessing to an extent, but I do definitely remember the plot, because the plot, I think, is a good one, actually.
Yeah.
It's just that there's some issues, with other stuff.
With how it's executed,
With how it's executed. But the actors are good, and the idea is good. The plot is basically that they are 4 jobbing actors, all of whom are going for a major role in a film, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the role is that of... Is it Al Capone?
It's Al Capone in a Martin Scorsese film. Martin Scorsese even turns up at the end as himself.
Yeah, he's in the film and he's directing a Capone biopic, basically.
Yeah.
Which there's been one recently, isn't there, I think? Someone's played it recently, I think. And anyway, so that they're doing that.
Yeah, it's Tom Hardy?
Possibly. But in any case, all 4 men are...
awful men. Awful men. Men are awful.
All 4 men are all preparing for their audition, and they would all be very different types of Al Capone, wouldn't they?
Yeah, so they try to sabotage each other's auditions.
Yeah,
some of them do.
Which I like as a plot, and I think it would make a great farce, for example, on stage.
If you look at these 4 men, you can see that Joey's dad from Friends looks possibly more like the image of Al Capone that we associate. But then the others are saying, well, they're going for a slightly younger, sort of sexier version of Al Capone.
I suppose the problem with Robert Costanzo is that he has an almost comical appearance, I think, which wouldn't necessarily suit Capone. But they've all got, different approaches to it. And Bill Murray turns up very early on in the film, I believe, at a kind of outdoor, I suppose if it was the UK, it'd be like a barbecue, wouldn't it? But it's kind of like this midday kind of dinner, sort of, not dinner, lunch lunch party thing outside.
I feel like it's one of those casting sort of things. It's
casting
like
things, a meet and greet, likes of which I would absolutely hate, but I wouldn't mind the food and stuff.
Yeah, the food sounds
I would
good,
hate to have to mingle.
And the opportunity at the end of it, but I'm with you.
The actual mingling, I'd literally rather just go on stage with a bunch of casting people sat in an audience, everyone gets 5 minutes to just talk about what you've done and then bugger off. But anyway, or just audition, which is really what it should be anyway. Anyway, irrelevant to that, Bill Murray is in that scene, and only that scene. It's not really a cameo, more a supporting impact part, isn't it? But he, I can't recall if he's an agent. He's someone powerful in Hollywood, I believe, and is flanked by sort of women and hangers-on, but he keeps stealing food. Well, not stealing, because I suppose it's food there to be eaten, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for some reason, he's eating a lot of the food. And I remember him being quite good in that scene.
He's funny.
He's sort of typical Bill Murray, but he is the funniest part of the film, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
And the best bit of the film, probably.
Yeah.
He's very funny. That whole idea that he's powerful, but really just wants to turn up for the food, and he's just acting like a child,
Yeah.
Bill Murray does that really well.
Yeah, and I think they might have given him a bit of free rein with that scene.
It's a weird
to some
film for him
extent.
to be in. I wonder if
is.
this was the stage of his career where he didn't have an agent, and I don't know what a point that
Well,
started.
he's never had an agent, has he?
Maybe he's never had one. But how did you contact him for this? Someone must have known him, and I can't work out who.
I don't know who the link is.
Yeah, I feel like Lauren Tom is. Yeah, she is in this, and she's good in this. Elle Macpherson is in this. We had to remind ourselves of that. We'd forgotten that. This is
Yeah.
a very busy film time period for Elle Macpherson. You know, a few years after she's done
and
Siren, she
Friends
was in
alumni, of
Friends,
which this has
yeah.
got 3 in.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, hang on, 3. Yes, Elle Macpherson, Robert Constanzo, and Lauren Tom, of course.
Tom,
Yes, yeah.
So 3 Friends,
And it's a good
stars.
cast.
And it's a good cast. It just feels a bit like empty, like a there's nothing. I would never watch this and then recommend it to someone.
Yes.
But I'd imagine that this could be some people's real cup of tea. Like, I could imagine people really enjoying this.
Yeah.
It's just not for us.
What's always a bad sign of a film is when you remember it's been so much longer than it was. I just looked up the running time. It's 101 minutes. That's not that long.
So that's an hour and 41 minutes.
Yeah, which isn't as long as I thought it was.
No,
way
and
past
10 minutes
2
now we
hours.
credit. So, yeah, I
So
mean,
it's not that long. It just maybe felt long. I know there's a scene. I mean, I guess maybe here's the central problem. Can you remember who gets the role of Al Capone?
well, I've got an inkling that I think I know.
I think I know. I think it might.
So
be...
wait, we're
Okay,
gonna
three.
say it after 3. Right, we'll do 3, 2, 1, and then say it. Okay,
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
David Strathairn. There you go.
Okay,
Right, good.
so I guess we can remember.
Yeah,
but I
we
can't
weren't
remember
too
what
sure.
got him
No,
the
I can't
role.
remember why. I
Yeah.
can't remember a lot of the machinations that got him there.
Yeah.
I can't
But
remember if we're supposed to
didn't-
like him. I can't remember. I think maybe he screws them over. I think he seems like maybe the most
Possibly
stable one. Can't remember.
Screws him over, and then doesn't he do a really impressive audition where he surprises everyone and they're not expecting him to start the audition
Yeah,
or something?
I think it does that classic
Or-
sort of he's going to take a risk in the audition, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's not going to pay off, and it does, and they love it. And part of the problem is the whole concept. The whole concept is a good concept, but it's Martin Scorsese. He's all right in the film, don't get me wrong, but I don't believe in it. At this time in his career, he wasn't doing gangster pics. It was a time in between that. He would
I'm
go
just
back
thinking
to
what he was
Departed.
doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Was he doing
98,
Shutter Island
99?
yet?
That was later. He was a few years off doing The Aviator, so
Yeah.
he was. I can't remember.
Matt-
Cape Fear, don't know. Can't remember what he did then. But
No, I don't know.
it was a time of his life where he wasn't concentrating as much on those type of stories. So they've clearly gone, we want a mob story, we'll
Yeah.
get Martin
Yeah.
Scorsese in, we'll say that he's directing it. First of all, I don't believe he would be directing a film at that time. Second of all, I don't believe he'd be considering any 3 of these actors. Clearly he'd go, maybe not Robert De Niro, because Robert De Niro had done that role in The Untouchables, but clearly he would go for someone else
Yeah.
that was very big at that time. You know, Ray Liotta or something, but he wouldn't have cast
Yeah.
these guys. So
Yeah.
it's strange. I don't believe in that. When you don't believe in the concept, it's tricky. What I did quite like about this, and what I think you liked about it, was it does go into a bit of the minutiae of acting. I think you actually
Yeah.
see them sort of like with script. You see them rehearsing. You know, you never really see that in films about actors. They just act.
And I think it reveals a lot about the nature of Hollywood and how cutthroat it can
Yeah.
be, and auditions, and the fact that auditions are fundamentally unfair, I think, and I know on a much lower scale, but I've done a lot of auditions myself, and fundamentally, you know that whoever's casting you has got a good idea of who they want anyway, and the audition is ultimately just there to cement that view. Now, I suppose it doesn't really explore that so much in this, because it makes the assumption that those casting it are unaware of any of them. But it does kind of explore the fact that, auditions are fundamentally unfair, really. And it's a bit like being in education and getting observed for a lesson. They're fundamentally unfair as well, because there's all sorts of mitigating factors that can affect your output during a time where you are just being assessed, arbitrarily.
Yeah, this film would have been the perfect sort of type of film to explore those issues, but I don't remember it doing that. And I guess we talked a bit in one of the previous ones about John McNaughton directing lots of different types of films at once. The first 10 minutes with Bill Murray I remember as uproariously hilarious. And, I seem to remember there being a hospital scene where someone's close to death or something like that. I can't link those two in my mind. It's very backstabby in the middle. I don't know. I don't know if it knows what it wants to be. I don't know if it's good at any of those 3 things. It's just kind of quite forgettable. It could be good. There are some good moments. I do know that.
But I agree, it's forgettable, and it's probably it's the biggest reason for its what I perceive to be its lack of success.
And was being made at the wrong time, right?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
think if this had been like a Showtime TV series,
Yeah.
then that would have been
Well, I
fine.
think it should be a Showtime TV series,
Yeah.
and I think it could easily.
Yeah, I mean,
have
Entourage,
been
for
12,
example,
or a
is
12-part
similar.
series
Yeah.
leading up to the casting at the end of the first series.
Yeah.
And then you could
And
have
then
worked from there, couldn't you?
Yeah, and then if
there's an
there's another
element
series
of
that- yeah.
episodes about it as well.
Yes, that's true, yeah.
You know, which succeeded relatively well, and is
Yeah.
great fun. Yeah, but ultimately, it is a bit of a wasted opportunity. I'd love to see it done now, though, with like 4 A-lister
Yeah.
actors. That'd be fantastic.
You'd have to do it with sort of like some relatively young ones,
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or a British version of this would be interesting.
Yeah. What, still for Capone or different?
Not for Capone, but for
Maybe-
someone else, like maybe a Royal or something like that. You know, you have
Yeah.
sort of younger people like Freddie Fox and people like that,
Yeah.
who are just sort of like in the beginning of their careers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there could be an interesting class comment. I think if it was done
And you could have
British,
cameos, lots of cameos with people like Eddie Redmayne coming in and playing on
Yes.
their public persona and stuff like that. That'd be
Yes.
quite fun, wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah. I think it would have to be at least partly about
Like
class,
a kind of
wouldn't it?
serious extras,
Yeah.
almost, but with a bit of comedy in as well.
Yeah, that would.
Gap in the market there.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get
I mean,
writing.
we could do, but we've now released it on public domain, so we no longer
yeah.
hold it.
Guys, if you want to run with that idea, do that. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance whether it's going to sink or swim, isn't it? So
I'd say
you know,
50-50 is
good luck.
is generous.
Yes, that's true.
Should
I
we get-
wouldn't have enough passion for the do you know what I mean? I'd come
Yeah,
up with
no,
the idea.
yeah.
I wouldn't have enough passion to see it
No,
through.
I
so,
nor would I.
Yeah.
Should we get on with
Let's
the
go on with the
the
scores. You gave this 7.75.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I gave this 6.75.
Yeah, I thought I liked this more than you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which gives it an average of.
It must be 7.25.
And it is, Kevin.
Right.
He's not called Kevin, that's another Friends reference.
Yeah.
You want one of
Well,
these?
you know
don't
what my name is, don't you?
We all know your name.
You know my name.
Oh, wouldn't that have been so good if you could have
Yes,
topped
but
up
I
that
didn't.
excellent Chris Cornell tune?
Hey,
Well done.
Second.
Very good.
Go. And that's got hair in it. Cat hair, I think.
Bye.
Right.
Very good. We're slick. We're good.
We are.
Alice, I'm going to ask you a couple of standard questions.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Okay, I'm going to teach you a little something about Bill Murray.
I'm very excited. I'm very pleased. I want you to get right down there. No studying.